Probably where the network people were at their lowest, and probably wish they hadn't gotten involved at all.
Everybody knows when you're doing a comedy, you're not hearing laughs, it's not working.
It wasn't like, gee, it went well. It was, we got to do something about this.
It was bad enough so that, I say 20 people in the office, there's nobody who said, gee, it wasn't that bad, or, you know, it was that bad.
They said it was a disaster. We certainly didn't get the audience response we would have liked.
They didn't laugh, but I hadn't heard a lot of laughs all week. We were working on it, and all I knew was that we were going to do it again.
I remember the show. I thought the show was wonderful.
Maybe the cast is better at blocking out that kind of horrible experience than I am, but it was vivid in my mind.
I think everybody down there knew enough to impart false hopes to whoever was willing to listen.
Mary, having been up there, you know, for the probably the only time in her life she's really bombed, you know, was, I mean, to that extent where she got no affection from the audience.
She came out to thank the audience. She really thanked them for sticking with her for the whole thing. I thought, she's so terrific, she's so brave, and then I think she went back and cried herself to sleep.
I sobbed my way home from the studio to our house, and I couldn't get my face dried after I washed it because the tears were still streaming down it.
Mary's very strong, but she just kind of broke down, and because this was a big opportunity for her, and she could see it going down the drain.
I don't think I said anything to Grant. He had been there, he had seen it, and he said, he got out of bed and said, I'll be right back, and I heard him go to the telephone.
So I got on the phone to Jim and Alan, who were, you know, having their own problems. So I just told them, you know, in a manner of a boss who doesn't know what the hell to tell him. I just said, fix it.
And he said, hi, it's Grant. Mary's very upset, so fix it. Thanks, and hung up. And that was the leadership they got from Grant.
But I got famous for that, because fix it doesn't mean anything.
And I don't think they were necessary at all for our writers. They knew that something had to be done.
No one punished us but ourselves, which was great. In other words, we weren't forced on the defensive, and that was again because we were working with friends and because of Grant Tinker.
And Jim and Alan particularly, I think they had high hopes for it, and they handled it very professionally, you know.
Alan said, well, I think you all better go home so we can get to work. And I had no idea what we do when those people left the room, because and they left the room.
He kept inviting them to stay.
Yeah.
Can I get you some tea?
The difficult thing was, what are we going to do with this show? Because it's not working.
And we did one key thing to make Rhoda more accessible based on, you know, the script supervisor, Marge Mullen, having a suggestion that the kid in the pilot endorse Rhoda so they'd have some context for laughing at her.
In the powwow that followed, sitting around with the script supervisor, Marge Mullen, who said, I think maybe Rhoda is too aggressive and the audience is fearful for darling Mary.
Rhoda's screaming at Mary, get out of my apartment, this is my apartment. Marge said, well, why don't you have the little girl, Phyllis's daughter, who's about 10, say, oh, Aunt Rhoda's really terrific.
Rhoda was really a neat person. How could you not trust her after that?
And that was about the only writing change. It was amazing that everybody, the writers, Jim and Alan, had the courage to stick with the material.
You know, these guys were pros by then, and they weren't about to panic because they had a bad run-through.
No one interfered at all. No one wanted to interfere. I mean, we policed ourselves pretty well, I think.
Instead of defending their lines and saying the actors didn't play it right or they didn't do it, they said, we got a lot of work to do. We got to go back in here.
No one castigated us or said we had behaved badly or hadn't done our jobs.
And I said basically to the cast, we're sticking with the script. We know it's good. Let's just rehearse some more. Let's really rehearse and start playing these scenes better. And we just all worked. We just went back to doing it. We didn't change anything. We didn't change the staging. We just did it better.